Definitely pause and read that disclaimer. None of this is financial advice. I'm purely sharing my own personal trading in hopes that maybe it'll help someone else. We'll see. It's been a minute. Welcome back. My name's Dan. This is Dan's Trades, and I did take a trade this afternoon. It is Friday, March 13th, 2026. I hit record. I didn't have a mic on my system at the time. I just hooked up this mic now to do this voiceover to the recording. So we're in the PM session here, just after the opening range was established for the PM session. And once we had a close above that inversion fair value gap, which is right before setting the PM opening range low, I entered on the next candle. I'm looking to get as close to OTE as I can here for my second entry, trading micros on the NASDAQ here. There's tapping OTE, execution, there we go. So we got two contracts on, targeting the high of the opening range for the PM session. You hear about multiple opening ranges, well that's one of them. There's an AM opening range, there's a PM opening range, London opening range. Today we're trading the PM session opening range. Just a little scalp. It's basically in huge consolidation, running through lunch here. And now after lunch, in this opening range macro, after the lunch macro ending, lunch macro ends there, and then this is the opening range. So targeting the midpoint of that for an exit, and then up here for terminus at the high. And just looking at the whole day here, we see Asia. I was going to do little scalps, and then I was moving stops too close, so I had a couple little longer term potential trades that got stopped out because of improper stop placement. So I learned a couple good lessons there recently this week, so putting that to good use here, which is why I got the stop down here. I'm anticipating this being the low of the day, and I'm also using that as a part of a quote-unquote TGIF style trade, but not on the weekly basis, just on the daily basis, looking for a retracement from the low of the day. And then just going to capitalize as it comes back up and retraces, as this is a higher time frame candle, and we're retracing from the low of the day. We see that right there. This is a free indicator, FX4M, that FX for Living coded. Same as this one, that's the OHLC indicator. And I also have his ICT 30-minute opening range AM PM indicator, which is also free. So yes, they do call it a lot of things, but it all depends on how you understand how to use them. It all depends on how you, the trader, see price. I personally like this terminus because this opening range high also just so happens to line up with, see this blue line underneath there? That's a higher time frame quadrant level. So it must just be random that the high of this is right there. So I'm just selecting this random high, which occurred at 1330, as my terminus. And that is my, and if I'm wrong and it goes below that, then I'm just going to be out. So I'm just looking at where I can take profits. I want to take my first one right there because that's right in between, right in the middle, pretty close to this SIBI, as well as the midpoint of that opening range. So there's all kinds of confluence happening right here that I'm looking to capitalize on. And we're in the macro. So I'm entering on the second half of that macro here. And it just ended actually at 1410. So it's at 1350 to 1410, these macro times here. Potential immediate rebalance we're looking at here. It's one thing that I've always loved. And I like that that's on there because I was thinking about that then. Michael himself just did his review and he talked about immediate rebalances a lot. So thanks. Must be timing. Oh, we just got our first exit. Since I took one off, it is forced a habit for me to move the stop, take profit, reduce risk. It's kind of ingrained in my brain, so that's why I naturally did that. Just looking at that swing low here, that fractal low that I wouldn't want to see price come back to at this point in time. Then I'm seeing, okay, we got a suspension block here. And if anyone knows, because I don't even think I've seen this yet, or if maybe it's just red and blue, but I don't think there's a specific color for suspension blocks, is there? Curious, let me know if you know. But just drawing that in, I'd like to see that completely rip through it just like it created it. But we're not seeing that. What we're seeing is the body's respecting consequent encroachment. And we did a U-turn and turn right back around. So I'm starting to look at this thing a little bit more bigger picture, looking at, okay, we got a swing low there. We got an inversion, fair value gap there. We got first exit already. So I had two contracts on. I got one runner looking for terminus. And I'm just kind of watching this trade as it plays out here. My mind's always thinking, am I on the right side? Am I reading this right? That came back down with immediate rebalance, so I was kind of negating that away. I'd like to see that be a continued up close candle, so I take away that. But it did come down and tap that inversion fair value gap, so I do like that. And there is a BISI underneath there, the little blue shade. This is all just being automatically drawn in by the OHLC indicator. That is a paid indicator. It's the only one that's well worth more than what he charges for it. And this is not a commercial, I'm just saying. The indicator isn't going to fix your trading, but at least David knows how to code ICT Concepts properly. So it makes your life easier as a trader because it does this automatically. And you just have to be able to understand it, how to manage a trade according to it. So redraw the fib. We're respecting that body still of that suspension block, so I like how that closes there. That's still bullish in my brain, so I'm, even though it's still hovering right around my, actually even though this doesn't make sense to me either, but whatever trading view. Like it should be first in, first out. Entry, exit. So this entry at 78.50, that should be down here, not up here at 86 or whatever. Should be 78, but neither here nor there. Just trading the chart. Trading what we see in price. Definitely not any other Mickey Mouse stuff from the past. Maybe one day I'll talk about that. Not today though, I don't think. Alright, we're still respecting that consequent encroachment. I'd like to see it close above that. But it's not about what I'd like to see. And I will switch this later, now that I have my microphone plugged into the system, on this ultra wide screen, which I love now. And I'm always so curious to see how it plays out on YouTube. Maybe this won't even be a legible video, who knows. It is the second time I had to do the audio because I screwed up the last one, so welcome to my third time watching this. First time live, second time voiceover, and now we're on the repeat of the second time voiceover, so here we go, third time's the charm. See if I don't lose my voice. Alright, we're just killing time inside of this block. That is the thing about after the macros. But this is where we build patience, which is the hardest thing that I've personally had to learn. The rest of the concepts and the rules, if-then statements, that comes fairly easy to me because that's an engineering background, and the more I think about it, the better it gets. There's a nice move, thank you very much. Now we're tapping into the bottom half of the PM session's first presentation fair value gap. Excuse me, which it already has used once. I'm also measuring my trade determinants and thinking about if I want to stop management, stop placement right now. As it starts moving, it's one thing that I always inherently struggle with is not strangling the trade. But I'm seeing this body respect here of the lower half, or the low of that first presentation PM fair value gap. Redraw the fib to the current high. Yeah, that body turned around and came right back down. I need to get a whole new mic because, or maybe I just need to test the other one again. We'll figure something out. I had a nice Yeti mic. It started acting up on me where every time I'd record it would be horrible audio quality. And it's been a great mic, so right now I'm actually only using just a mic off a webcam. So if it sounds funny, I apologize. My voice is a little hoarse. And it's a new setup, so I honestly don't know how good this sounds right now. I think it sounds a little tinny and canny for the little bit of testing I did, but we'll see. I'll tweak it as I go, if I need to. Now we're just waiting, thinking about big picture, looking at this. It's like, yeah, kind of starting to view the whole market maker model here. There's a low risk buy. First stage accumulation. Looks like we're retracing now. This is the part that's hard for me to live through, so very commonly I would have jammed my stop up there and been taken out with very small profits, so now we're letting it breathe a little. And I'm starting to look bigger picture at this this framework, what I'm seeing here, and what my eyes are attuned to see, which yours may or may not be able to see or whatnot, but over time you will. Looking at this open right here, so that's the open of this 2 o'clock hour. So this is the 2 o'clock open, which is a new 4-hour candle. It's a new 1-hour candle. So there's a lot of things that are keyed off this one. So if it comes down here, I'm thinking, as you see, I'm going to start thinking about buying again, because we're in that OTE area of this dealing range as it's progressing. And knowing that the algorithm does do that, yes, I am underwater slightly here. I can take that heat. I mean, we're a few dollars, right? $33 of risk right now. I didn't used to have dollars because I wanted to do only ticks. Oh, here we go. We'll just watch this for a minute. We're coming down to a quadrant level, octant level. Oh, someone's calling. It's not for me though. All right, we just tapped that opening price, so I like that. I like that reaction. And I'm looking big picture again here. What the whole day do? I'd like to see a little bit of retracement on the daily. I like seeing that. Respect that. I'd like to see a swing high, or excuse me, a swing low form here with an up close as I'm watching this body. So we got this fair value gap. It's now inversion because it closed below it, but if we get back above it, now it's back above it. So it turned blue again. Amazing indicator, right? OHLC indicator. Thank you, David. tool does so many things, it's crazy. So we got a civvy right here, working on this reclaim BISI, because it's been below it, now it's been back above it, so I'd like to see it be a reclaim BISI. But I do like how it's respecting these bodies, and once I see a swing low here, I'm probably going to re-engage, as I'm just sitting here and waiting. Here's where the patience gets earned, waiting for more data. This is where you do monitor the 5 and 15 second, in all honesty, off screen. That's not watching the 1 minute, so I'm watching that as well. So now we got a swing low and an up close candle. I'm taking a trade on the next candle, not waiting for it to be a down close like I sometimes do for anticipating the fair value gaps and IO feds. So got a second contract back on, so came in 2, took 1 off, added 2 back on again. And since I'm entering this lower and I'm looking at this whole thing as a potential market maker buy model, this is a retracement, looking for second stage accumulation to occur. I'm probably going to move this stop as I'm adding on the contract, and I'm looking at adding another one as well here. And here I'm also targeting where I want to get back out. So if we make a new high inside of that PM first presentation is what my thought is right now, right around 1 standard deviation, which is also very close to the previous hour's equilibrium. Look at all these confluences coming together. So I'm going to use that for targeting an exit. And here's where, since I'm adding on, I'm going to do another entry here. I'm moving my stop based on the full smart money reversal here. So there's where I would have been taken out, but instead, redrawing the whole thing to take it in mind for the framework, I'm adding on, which is in between OTE and the lower quadrant. So now I'm at 3 contracts, micros, risk of 180 and change. It's within my risk tolerance. Now I'm just watching where they operate on these quadrants and eighths, and watching the time. I like the bottom of the hours. And we also see that CE, that discount wick, is also lining up with the lower octant right here. So that's a beautiful signature that I like seeing to support my idea of higher prices in this short little amount of time, this ultra scalping area. Then it can do whatever it wants. It is counter trend right now because we are a higher time frame bearish. But we continue to just watch. So here we go. We inverted that one. We're back in the green. So very small amount of drawdown. Price isn't spending a lot of time here. I like seeing that. Now we have another reclaimed. So this is reclaimed again. It's blue again. That's getting me excited. And it comes right back down. Don't you hate that? Oof. Some nice liquidity it just grabbed right there. Since it grabbed that liquidity, we're coming back down into the inefficiency and getting some more. I think about, whenever I see nice moves like that, I always have an inclination to want to take some off just because I see too many whipsaw reversals, and it's hard to let your brain allow these things to breathe, especially when it's right around your break-even point. See a nice move right through it, come right back down to it. That's just how you perceive price, though. If you weren't in a trade, you wouldn't see this area. It's only because my brain is focusing on it, because I'm in the trade. That's why you need to get to the point where it doesn't matter whether it gets stopped out or whether it goes to the target. We don't care either way. It's just a matter of doing what it's going to do and capitalize when it does it. All right, that one's closed. Tapped in that. It's an immediate rebalance. I'd like to see this being up close candle, if that could be. It does have a volume imbalance, so there's a tiny fair value gap there because it's included in the volume imbalance. Amazing coding, David, as always. Yeah, look at all these confluences. And that's now a CE, that red line. We've closed above it again, so we should respect it. At least in my understanding. And again, I'm not teaching, I'm not charging anything, I'm not selling anything. I'm just talking about what I see as I see it. Alright, we're tapped the top of that inversion fair value gap. It's a nice reaction, which is also where the position is currently. Making some nice liquidity right here. Okay, that was a nice reaction. I just switch over to dark mode again. I used to dark mode trade for a long time before I was introduced to Michael and ICT Concepts. And as you've seen on the channel, grow over. Oh, yeah. The more I look at this, Terminus is going to stay the same, and I like. Oh, thank you very much. Look at that. And as is force of habit, I take one off, I move the stop. As I was just looking at that, I set my limits to take off at the low and the high of that first presentation fair value gap in the PM session. And it's like it saw me and it ran right there, so thank you very much. That must be random. So now we've trimmed up cost. We moved up to here again just because I took one off. Managing the stop accordingly as we move towards terminus. See, I'd like to see it continue though. I don't want to see it react again on that and then turn back around like this did. Since we've already done it a couple times, I'm anticipating going right through it and then come around top of it and use it for an inversion fair value gap into my terminus is what I'd like to see. Just because I'd like to doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I just keep watching these quadrants now of this small dealing range and watch how the algorithm uses it. I mean, the random price of buying and selling pressure uses it. Are we having fun yet? Seriously. Yeah, I know it's me talking hindsight because my mic wasn't on. Don't worry, more will come. All right, cruise right on up there. Let's go get some legs. Look at that nice liquidity. just stacked right up there. Looks beautiful. That's a close above the midpoint of this fair value gap, so I like seeing that. As you've heard ICT say, that's a green light for up above. Keep retracing the fib as price moves. Nice open breakaway gap there. I'd love to see this go whoosh. Let's see. All right, keep redrawing it. Trying to zoom in so you can see it better. There we go. Tagged it. Thank you very much. Yes, this is a mark. I tried to hover over the market open and I can't do it. Yeah, it is live. All right. Now we're free rolling. Stop management. Got to keep redrawing my price here. We're moving to terminus. Maybe we'll just get there. Let's see. So that's 1, 2, 3 down. We're down to the runner. And our stops and profits, so that's a win. We have already won for the day. It doesn't even matter where this one goes. 3 out of 4. We got a triple. Let's see if we can get a home run. See if it wants to come back down. And here's where I'm always working with, and obviously the more I watch the master, the better I try and become. And at the end of the day, it only matters what I do. Say, like, people get a tendency to jam it up there. Nah, let's not do that yet. Thinking about that low, then I start thinking about that suspension block. I'm like, where do I want to put this? We could easily retrace back down there before it runs back up. Easily. So I want to let it breathe. Give it some room. Easier said than done. I completely understand. But now I'm also starting to think about when price is bullish, down closed candles should support price, and vice versa, right? So now I'm looking at this candle, so I kind of got the stop sitting at that close, but it could come down here. And also there's a open efficiency, there's an open inefficiency for both of them, so it could easily slam back down and get back up because we're not close to a macro. I was expecting to maybe trade from macro to macro, but we'll see. Maybe it wants to get there soon. The next macro open up is 1450 here, which is down over here. So yeah, I hate consolidation, but look at where the body's closing right on the high of that PM first presentation. Redraw to the high. Now it's also matching the quadrant, the octet. Now we're just going to be aggressive, and because we're watching, we got a swing low here. I want price to be supported by this down close candle. If it goes below it, that's fine with me. It can stop me out. Because I hate giving back profits. I hate retracements when I have money in the bag. That's one of the hardest things that I've had to grow through. That and scar tissue from previous mentors that maybe didn't teach everything. No harm, no foul, whatever. It is what it is. But I've seen the light now, that's for sure. Now we just sit and wait. But yeah, I'm very interested in the mean threshold of this candle. I'd like to see price stay above it. If a body closes below it, I'd probably cut the trade off early. Or I'd just like to see it go right up there and get it right now. I mean, why not? So close. If you're curious about all these things, I think I mentioned it on my first recording that got blown up. These indicators are from a gentleman's handles FX for a living. His name's David. I have met him in person in real life, so I trust him. Here's what I think about closing a trade, because I've seen so many reversals, but now I understand when and where they actually do happen, so this is part of my learning patience. But mentioning David has coded these. This ICT 30-minute opening range one is free. FX4M is free. The OHLC is a paid one. It's ridiculously underpriced, so it might as well be free. That's what's drawing these in on top of anything that I may have drawn in. Like I drew that suspension block in sitting there. But all the rest of the stuff is ICT Concepts by indicator. And it might just look like a bunch of garbage to you, which is fine. It all depends on what you want to key off of and see. So I don't have an exact cookie cutter model that I just press into my dough every day. I just kind of use everything, and when I see a opportunity for a scalp or a short-term intraday trade, I take it when I can, and that's what I saw here. And I'm finally getting better at living through this retracement after I took a little bit off the table already, so pay the trader a little bit here on a tiny little move, retracement, get back in, understanding the big picture, and now we're just waiting for terminus, whether it's a stop out and profit or a terminus exit. No matter what, we win. Thank you, David, for these indicators. Thank you, Michael, for the concepts. And above all, thank you, Jesus, for making all this possible for all of us. Because without him, none of this works. Believe it or not. All right. We got to be getting close. One thing I don't like as much right here is 1, 2, 3 little Indians. Could be a little return around, so I've seen that before. So if it does, that's fine. That's why I've kind of gotten aggressive with my stop here. That can be done. Now we got another swing low formed on a down close candle, obviously. Oh, and by the way, David, I think it's time to put my name on here. Trade market, dance trades, let's go. And I don't give a rip. I'm taking off any affiliate links that I have anywhere. You can use it or not. I don't care. I don't get affiliate money for them. But David does have an awesome OHLC Academy group. Thank you, David. That is one thing I forgot to mention when I was recently on his space. If you may or may not have caught me there. A few people started following me after, but that was an incredible space. It was a big day for me. I had a few epiphanies that day. But I mentioned that Kit and Michael were two of the only ones that I trusted, and David, FX4 Living, is obviously another one. So didn't mean to leave you out there, David, but words were just flying out of my mouth at that time on Sunday. So let's get up there and get this and call it a day. Who's in with me? Squeeze it. 95 or 145? You make the call, Mr. Market. I win either way. Counter trend trade. TGIF style trade, but not for the whole week, just for the day, where we got a retracement off the low of the day and capitalizing on it. Get some legs. You can do it. I like seeing that. Making another new high. Keep drawing it. Looking good. potential immediate rebalance there. Come down and touch the open of, or the close of the previous 2 candles back. Efficiently driven, efficiently delivered. Tiny little volume imbalance right here. Could wick it. $14.41. Just before the macro. Remember I was thinking it was going to be under the macro? $14.50. We'll see, maybe $14.50 will get it. Or he's going to go flying all the way up to lunch high. Sweep low and go high. That's why I'm not requiring to go all the way. I'm perfectly content with this one right here. This dealing range. How do you find the dealing range? Use David's indicators, which is built on ICT's concepts. Bam. How do I know it's counter trend? Daily, weekly, monthly is bearish right now. I'm in a long. That's how I know it's counter trend. This is where the boring gets old. Waiting for price to get there. You can do it. Oh. Get the magnet out. We need a magnet. There we go. Thank you. Thank you very much. We just made it to the finish line. Checkered flag. Thank you for flying with Dan's Trades. That has been fun. I do appreciate you watching. Throw me a question if you got one. I'll try and answer it. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. Again, I'm not here to teach, not here to sell anything. Just here showing you how I'm doing some things, and maybe what I can see, maybe I'll help someone else see. Again, it's all based on Michael J. Huddleston, ICT Concepts, and our Lord Jesus Christ that gives us all this knowledge. Thank you very much. Remember, tomorrow is promised for none of us. Make sure you live for today. We'll zoom in on the carrots here. You can see where they entries and exits. And above all, be safe. That was a little slippage there. I hate market orders, but they get the job done. Entry on market, exit on limit. That's what we're doing now. Take care, everyone. Have a good weekend.